to all our audience on Métal Zone on Oxygène Radio. We are in Nantes at the warehouse, and we've got the huge pleasure to be with, of course, you know him, Schmier from Destruction, for the Euro Tour for the 14th anniversary of the band. So first of all, thanks for taking time to answer some questions for Métal Zone Oxygène Radio. How is going on this tour?
It's going great. We started in Mexico. And now it's the third week, and we love really packed shows and a lot of crazy people, and also, you know, some nostalgic moments. Yeah. People coming with memories, saying, "Oh, I saw Destruction first time yesterday." Was a lady in Nantes, in Cléon, saying, "Oh, yesterday. I saw Destruction with Motorhead and Girls' School 1989." You know, and you know, was an older lady with her daughter and her husband, and the daughter had a Destruction tattoo. You know. And then it's like, I like this, on this tour several times, the father and the son came, or, you know, I like when history closes, you know, and sometimes parents give the medal to the kids, you know. Doesn't happen so often, but sometimes it's yeah. And that's, you know, that touches me too, you know, because, you know, it's now 2 generations of thrash.
Yeah, because as I said, Destruction is celebrating its 14th anniversary this year, and you're into your 50s. What view do you have with the insight on the band's career?
It's always difficult, you know. Look at yourself in the mirror. What do you see? Yeah. Is it beautiful or ugly, or is it, you know, you don't have the perspective of somebody else, but for me, you know, Destruction is my life. It's not just music or a band. It's passion. It's hard blood. It's a lifestyle also, you know. So it's difficult to reflect. You know, there's ups and downs, and we had difficulties, you know. But the last 24 years now have been like this, boom, you know. Yeah. So. It's been a crazy ride, and I'm very happy that we're still here. You know, we still can do this after all those years. It's not normal. You know, there's new trends and come and go, and thrash metal is never the top of the line. Let's say the flavor of the month. It's thrash metal. It's underground music. Yeah, sure. And still, you know, it's nothing for girls. It's a wild boys music, you know. So yeah, it's still pretty unusual that this music stays for so long and still has a. We have a lot of young fans also coming now again to the shows, you know, not just us old guys, you know. So yeah, and that's great to see, you know. So yeah, it's been a crazy ride, and hopefully we can have some more years, because now we're the first generation of thrash metal getting into retirement in some years, you know. I mean, Slayer retired, but I heard they're coming back for some festivals. Okay.
Okay, so big respect for this longevity of the band. Let's talk about now your latest album, Diabolical, was released in April last year. Was there anything you tried differently or wanted to explore more, or is it just 100% Destruction?
I mean, at the end, a band always wants to grow and try out new things, and you know, I think Diabolic is more the essence of the band. We try to write shorter songs, come more to the point, you know, put our trademarks in there. And back in the day, sometimes we wrote songs that were too long, and which experimented a little bit here and there, which is legend, you know. But this album, I wanted to be like punchy on the point, you know. And of course, we had the lineup change also, and that also was important to get the new guys, you know, into the band, involved in everything, and so the band is a really good unit now. But I think Diabolical, for the difficult circumstances, also we switched label from Nuclear Blast to Napalm, you know. It wasn't an easy time during COVID also, but for me the album was like a life-saving experience, because I could do music in COVID, you know. COVID was difficult, and the album writing, recording was great fun, you know. So I think for me, if I look back, you know, which are the most important Destruction albums, it will be one of the first ones, and then The Antichrist, when the band came back, the big success album, and now Diabolical also for the new era of Destruction also.
After the brief instrumental intro under the spell, the title track hits the listener with all guns blazing. Is this album your interpretation of the current times, full of political unrest and corrupt business practices?
Oh yeah. I mean, always been. We just had some situations where we were in Mexico and other countries, and we see how fucked up the politicians are and how corruption is everywhere, you know. And my guy said to me, "You could write a song about corruption." I'm like, "I'm doing this since 40 years, you know." So, yeah, of course it's inspirational especially when you tour the world and see different countries, you know. And as much I'm German, but you know, I don't consider myself being German. I consider myself being a citizen of the world, you know. I like to be in France, in America. I like to be in Germany. I'm only German when it comes to football, you know. When it comes to football, but otherwise, you know. So I think the world is a fantastic place, but politicians are fucking it up, you know. And it's, for me, it's a great relief to write about it, you know. And sometimes when people come to you and say, "Hey, thank you for the lyrics, you know, it helped me through difficult times and stuff," then it's a great reward for writing.
So, as I said, Diabolical was released in April last year. Have you started working on new album? Where are you into the composition process? And can you tell us more about it?
We're more like, once we started the process of writing, we write fast and intense for a certain period. Yeah. I don't write the whole year, you know, because I like to focus when I start writing, you know, keep it exciting. It's like having no sex for a little time, you know, no sex. And then when you have the sex, it's like, oh, you know. So I like to focus then, and we're going to start writing. We're going to go hopefully on tour in Asia in March, Asia and Australia. Okay. And around that time, we're going to start writing new demos and stuff. And hopefully we want to release a new song after this summer, like a first new single maybe. Okay. And then a new album end of the year or beginning of next year. Okay. So something around that. We have to see how many shows we have this year. Yeah. There's also this project with Sodom Creator and Tankard, you know. We're talking about some more shows together. So let's see how that goes. Yeah. And then we see how. Okay. I mean, there's, you know, now that we're so old, you know, we don't have to rush for a new album. We want to do a great new album, you know. Take the time. Yeah, because, you know, every album can be the last, you know. Yeah. You never know. Yeah. So you never know what life can. So you want to do a good one, and it's not like I remember in the 2000s we did like a new album every year, every 2 years. Now it's like when time is ready. Yeah.
Cool. So be patient. It's gonna come to your ears. Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
Oh yeah. So as we speak, just before Destruction exploded into the fledgling German metal scenes with its 1984 debut demo, Bestial Invasion of Weil. What do you remember the most about the recording of this first demo?
We had like 6 hours to record everything. Went into the studio, plugged in our instrument, we played all the songs like 3-4 times, and then that's it. Okay. And the guy was mixing it right after, and it was really fast, you know. But I remember the proud moment, the first time you hear your own music professionally recorded, even if the sound is not perfect, but for 1984 or 83, it sounded good, you know. Yeah. So I think I remember just how fast it was, like the rush that we had to be. It was the first time in the studio, so we had no experience. And I remember the proud moment when it's like the moment when you're a father and you're looking at the baby the first time, you know. It's like it feels good, you know. I think every musician knows this feeling. The first official recording of a band that you hear is a very proud moment. Yeah.
So, talking about you left Destruction in 19.
They left me.
Ah, okay. Can you explain what led to your not departure, but
I think it's we were very young, and a lot of expectations from the label, from the management, and then the band was growing. Also musically, you know, from a thrash band into more skilled musicians, and we had a lineup change also. And then the band was just drifting apart a bit musically, you know. And a mixture of all this, of the high expectation and the musical differences led to the split, you know. And I think it's very normal when you're a musician and you're young, you want to develop, you want to expand your limits, you know, you want to go new ways. And it was a difficult time for the band, but we were very young, you know. I was 17 on the first record, so when we split up, it was 89. There was like 6 years later. You know, so I was just beginning of 20s, and you know, it was difficult. But I always say, everything in life has a reason. You know, the split was bad, but the experience was great, and to learn something about this. You know, and now Destruction maybe wouldn't be here without the split. You know, so. Learn from life.
Learn from life. Yeah, that's a good maxim. Yes, the band, so as I said before, crossed 4 decades in the metal industry. What would be your advice to young starting heavy bands nowadays?
Don't sign every record deal. You know, get a lawyer, check your contracts, because they may be for a long time. The small lines. You know, we had a first contract that says, you know, chained for life to one label, and also the rights on the albums were for a lifetime. So that means they could sell my albums till I die, which is wrong. It's like it's being jailed. So I think nowadays it's not so bad anymore. But I think the most important advice is also believe in yourself, do what you want. Don't be a follow-up. Don't listen what others tell you. The music is for the heart, and it should give you pleasure and fun, and do music also for the reason of joy and not for the reason of money. Yeah.
That's a good advice, a very good advice. The world of music and the way to consume it has been profoundly transformed with the appearance of social networks and platforms. Which do you think is the ideal way nowadays for a band to promote its work?
I think what we forget about, and what I see nowadays when I'm on tours, people forget about the old way to promote, like posters, flyers, going to other concerts, give flyers to the kids, you know. People forget that, you know. It was for many years an important way to promote shows. Now nobody does it anymore. And I told my agency too, man, tell the promoters, no, all they want is me to do a lot of promotion on my social media, because you have a lot of followers. But I don't reach everybody there, you know. So I think the best promotion is both, you know. You go in your social medias, of course, and do a mix of also of face-to-face promotion, hang some posters, you know, hand out some flyers. I think that's the best promotion. Also, I still like some print media, you know. I know the labels nowadays, they don't do so much print media anymore, but I think for a certain amount of old school fans, the print media will always be important, you know. Of course, it shrinks now, but it's still there. So I think
try to find the right balance between both.
Just online is not everything, you know.
I agree with you. So you are 56 this year? No, yeah, but I've got 51 and 53. How do you see your future in and outside the music world?
I mean, I'm 100% musician, so I'm always 100% involved in the band. When I'm at home, I'm the manager also, and the producer and the songwriter. So my life is always with music. But when of course, I have a little privacy too. Then I enjoy life with sports and you know, and my girlfriend and stuff like this. But beside that, I think music has always been my focus, you know. And I couldn't see my life without the music, you know. So when people ask me, when will you retire and stuff, like I'm like, you know, musicians, they drop dead and then they retire, you know. So hopefully we can do this more years, you know. We don't know how many more years people want to listen to thrash metal, you know. But we have a solid following, and that's fantastic. So I hope we can do a couple of more albums. And, you know, lately Miller from Creator said to me, we have another 15, 20 years. I said, woo, it's optimistic, but I hope so, you know.
As long as your health, as you're in good form.
Exactly. That's something I learned in the last 5-10 years, that you have to, you know, the party is going less and less. There's more water. than wine, you know. And if I want to perform a good show every night, I can do the party I did 20 years ago, you know. So we all learn from this, and for me the show is more important than the party nowadays. That was different back in the day when we were young, you know.
I understand. So, looking back at your childhood, in which musical environment did you grow up, and what was the first piece of music, as far as you remember, of course, which was for you a trigger?
Yeah, my father had some rock and roll vinyl singles, you know. So I think the first time I heard like some rock and roll on radio was a trigger for sure. But my very first real vinyl experience and the first really record that rocked my life was when I was like 10, 11 years old. I searched my father's rock and roll singles, and there was this one called Jailhouse Rock from Elvis. And I put it, and this was like the first time I heard like rock, real rock music when I was a little kid, you know. And I was digging for more rock and roll, and then I found a Status Quo. And they were the boogie woogie rock and roll rock, you know. This was before AC/DC and stuff like this. So this rock and roll stuff was my coming into rock, and then of course AC/DC and stuff, and then when of course 1979 Judas Priest the live album came out, Unleashed in the East, that was the trigger for heavy metal for me. Yeah.
Cool. That's fucking cool. Okay. So, to conclude this interview, Schmier, something to add and some word for your fans.
I want to say thank you so much for sticking with us for 40 years. I met so many crazy fans on this tour that brought me all destruction, all memories, and for a lot of people, destruction also been a part of their whole life, and I really appreciate that people stick to the band for so long. So, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much.
Merci, thank you. This was Schmier from Destruction at the Warehouse in Nantes. Wish you a lot of good things for you, for the band, for your family. And as I always say at the end of the interview, don't forget to laugh. It's important to laugh every day. Thank you. Bye-bye.